he's dead. No, I'm sure he's dead.
But how?
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 shocking deaths on Downton Abbey.
Sometimes I don't know who I'm most in mourning for. Matthew or the person I used to be when I was with him.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're looking at the character deaths that took us most by surprise, whether we like the characters or not. Let us know in the comments which Downton resident you still miss. Number 10, James and Patrick Crawley.
Mr. Carson, I think you ought to see this.
It's true that we never really got to know James and his son Patrick, and indeed, you never see either of them on screen, depending on what you believe about the wounded soldier, that is. But that doesn't make the decision to open the entire show with the dramatic sinking of the Titanic any less shocking.
Oh my God.
That's impossible. I'll take it up there now.
Almost in real time, we see the servants get that morning's paper, along with some telegrams breaking the news. The world's biggest ship has sunk on its maiden voyage, leading to the deaths of over 1,000 people, including both heirs to the estate and earldom.
It seems James and Patrick were on board.
What? They can't have been. They weren't going over till May.
And they changed their plans. They're definitely on the passenger list.
This turn of events kickstarts the entire show.
Well, but I thought Lady Mary was the heir.
She's a girl, stupid. Girls can't inherit. But now Mr. Crawley's dead, and Mr. Patrick was his only son. So what happens next?
Number 9, Alex Green.
Have you settled him in satisfactorily, Mr. Gillingham?
I wish you could call me Green. That's my real name.
Mr. Carson wouldn't approve.
He certainly was a swine, taking top spot in the minds of Downton fans as the show's most infamous and reviled character.
Would you care for something stronger?
I shouldn't let Mr. Carson see you with that.
You want some?
To deserve this honour, he assaulted Anna in Series 4, a repugnant crime she insists on keeping hidden from her husband, out of fear he will murder Green.
What I want is to go back upstairs.
You're not telling me that sad old cripple keeps you happy?
If you must know, yes.
In the end, Green does die off-screen after getting hit by a bus in highly dubious circumstances. The mystery brought more high drama as Mr. Bates found himself yet again under suspicion of murder.
We must tell someone.
No.
But you have to tell Mr. Bates.
Him least of all. If he knew, he'd murder the man who's done it and then he'd be hanged.
Did he push Mr. Green in front of that bus? It turns out that he didn't. It was actually another woman Green attacked, giving him his just desserts. Number 8, Isis. We knew this was coming before it happened, but the news that the Crawleys' beloved dog Isis was going to live on the big estate in the sky was still so shocking to audiences.
What did he say? Is she carrying puppies? Because I don't see how that could have happened.
No, it's not that. She's got cancer, poor old thing.
But why exactly the fan favourite Labrador had to die is still a little bit cloudy. Audiences were quick to suggest that the dog had to be killed off because of its very, very unfortunate name.
He said it won't take long now. He offered to put her down there and then, but I couldn't quite let him.
It could really take you out of the soapy period drama antics when they're shouting the name of an extremist organisation all the time.
We'll keep her right here. This is her spot. She'll know she's back at home.
However, Hugh Bonneville had a different story. Isis had to die because the Downton timeline was so inconsistent that she would have been unrealistically old by the time Series 5 rolled around.
Two people who love her and each other very much lie at the side.
Number 7, Vera Bates. Alex Green's death was the second time Mr. Bates was thought to be a killer, but Vera Bates was the first.
I'll have to go up to London.
But what will you say to her that you haven't said already?
I don't know, but I know staying here won't make any difference.
Upon arriving at Downton, it was clear Mr. Bates was hiding something, especially when he kept trying to avoid his growing feelings for Anna.
How was it?
Worse than you can possibly imagine.
Eventually, we learn that he's got an estranged wife, and this wife reappears to demand both money and for his return to her life.
What was that about?
His wife's dead. Someone found her early this morning.
She later dies after ingesting arsenic, framing Mr. Bates in her death for her supposed murder and ending her life on purpose to get vengeance on him. He actually goes to prison for the crime for a while, though his name is eventually cleared. Number 6, Lavinia Swire. The characters thought they were out of the woods when the First World War finally drew to a close, but the audience knew better. Following hot on the heels of the Great War was the Spanish flu pandemic, and of course, it struck Downton.
Why didn't anyone tell me she was like this?
She took a turn for the worse about half an hour ago. Where were you?
The most notable victim claimed was Matthew Crawley's then fiancée, Lavinia Swire.
Everyone sends love. I've told your father I'll telegraph him as soon as it's safe for him to come.
But not before.
Though audiences were still rooting for Matthew and Mary at the time, Lavinia became a very endearing and tragic character, and nobody wanted to see her killed off.
I do have some self-worth. Just not enough to make you marry the wrong person.
She vowed to stay with Matthew through his severe injury, and in her last words told Matthew he should be happy despite his feelings that he's betrayed her.
Be happy. For my sake.
Number 5, William Mason. Of the two original footmen, William was kind-hearted and compassionate, while Thomas remains slimy and deceitful. That's why we're still upset that it was William who ended up dead back in Series 2.
They're going to chuck everything they've got at us.
And we shall have to chuck it back, won't we, sir?
Quite right.
Many of the show's male characters left Downton to fight in the First World War, which left tens of millions dead in the real world.
But he does look perfect. Are you sure they've got it right?
I'm afraid so.
It would have sadly been unrealistic for them all to return to Downton relatively unscathed. And though Thomas and Matthew are both injured, it's William who loses his life.
You'll be my widow. A war widow with a pension and rights. You'll be looked after.
He marries Daisy on his deathbed, and despite her long-lasting guilt over the situation, at least says goodbye feeling happy and fulfilled. Number 4, Kamal Pamuk. Who could forget the first death to happen on screen, and potentially the most scandalous one in the whole show?
Lady Mary Crawley, I presume.
You presume right.
Sorry to be so dishevelled. We've been on a train since dawn and we had to change in a shed.
Good-looking diplomat Mr. Pamuk arrives at Downton with Evelyn Napier and quickly takes a shine to Lady Mary. He blackmails Thomas into leading him to Lady Mary's room and thereby seduces her.
You must be mad.
I am in the grip of madness.
Please leave at once or
Only what?
I'll scream.
This was already immensely scandalous for 1913, but then he only goes and dies midway through their tryst.
What happened? I don't know. A heart attack, I suppose, or a stroke, or he was alive and suddenly he cried out and then he was dead.
It appears he's had a coronary, and it's up to Mary, Lady Cora and Anna to carry him through the house back to his own room. The threat of this news ever getting out follows Lady Mary throughout most of the series. Number 3, Michael Gregson. It took years, both in the show and in real life, to find out what had actually befallen Michael. He was Edith's second beloved after Sir Anthony, who shockingly jilted her at the altar, meeting Edith after she gets a job writing columns for his magazine.
Don't be silly.
You miss me?
Of course. Is it really only a week until you leave?
They fall in love and she becomes pregnant. However, he can't marry her because he's got a wife currently committed to an institution.
What can you do when you get there?
I thought I'd write a novel.
I tried to. Always fancied myself a novelist and never had the time.
He heads off to Munich on a mission to gain German citizenship and divorce his wife, but then disappears. It's only in the following series that we find out Michael was killed off by the Nazis during the 1923 Munich Putsch.
Well, no, I hadn't planned on going anywhere.
No?
No.
Number 2, Matthew Crawley. The heir to the earldom following the deaths of Patrick and James, Matthew Crawley arrives at Downton having never even met his distant, aristocratic cousins.
Can this hot and dusty traveller come in?
He'd weathered many storms by this time, becoming a true part of the family and Lord Grantham's heir, fighting in the First World War and overcoming a devastating injury, and finally winning Lady Mary's heart in hand and marriage.
Hello, my dearest little chap.
But it was in the 2012 Christmas special that we said goodbye to Matthew, right after the birth of his and Mary's son, George. While driving back home, he gets in a deadly car accident. It happened because Dan Stevens, afraid of being typecast, decided to leave the show. Number 1, Lady Sybil.
God, I wish there was something I could do.
Just be here.
Her death was by far the most gut-wrenching the series has ever produced, even worse than the shock of losing Matthew. She was one of the most popular characters in the franchise, both with the audience and the other characters, but actress Jessica Brown Findlay simply decided not to return for Series 4. Rather than have her die off screen, her death was at least written in, but it was still heartbreaking.
You are upsetting these people for no reason at all.
I am not. I think she may be toxemic with the danger of eclampsia, in which case we must act fast.
There is no danger whatsoever.
Upon becoming pregnant, she and Branson returned to Downton, but it was discovered she had preeclampsia, a condition that can prevent a growing fetus from getting enough nutrients.
What's happening? Oh, God. Oh, God! What's happening? God, no! What the hell is happening?
She died just hours after her daughter Sibby was born.
She's so beautiful. Oh, my darling. I do love you so much.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.